Hello FlossTube and welcome to the 5th day of Christmas. I hope you're all just about coming out of the mince pie and Christmas pudding coma. I am still enjoying a week off of late mornings lie-in and slightly late nights going to bed and a lot of stitching on the sofa. Today, however, I have been out in my sewing room. I'm not going to show you my sewing room because it's still absolute chaos, but I've been doing some sewing. And I thought what I would talk to you about today is things that I've sewn in the last year and things that I plan to sew next year. Genuinely, my first thought when I was thinking, oh, I can tell them about all the things I've sewn in 2022, and I'm like, did I sew anything in 2022? The answer is not all that much. So I knew I had sewn a pink furry jacket for my niece in January. Obviously, she has got the pink furry jacket, so I haven't got that to show you. And then I was quite unwell for quite a lot of the year. And I'm like, did I make anything else? And then I remembered I had a dress that I'd bought from Sainsbury's that I'd altered quite a lot. And then I started going through my Instagram feed and I'm like, oh, okay, there were a couple of things I've made. I will put pictures in. I made a couple of versions of this top. In fact, this is the pattern here. It is the So Liberated matcha top. And I made one from some fabric that someone had given me. It might be a Liberty Print Tana Lawn. It's very old, so it hasn't got a selvage that says Liberty Print, but I think it might be. And then another from a pink and white striped fabric. It's a really nice, easy top to wear. It kind of looks like a buttoned up shirt, but there are no buttons down the front. It just slides over your head. I think this is also on my list of things to make in 2023. I think it would be really nice for sort of autumn or spring in a needle cord. So the ones I did for summer were very lightweight, but I think it would be a really nice top to wear with jeans at other times of year. So that's on the to-do list. The other thing I did make, I made one very lightweight cotton dress to wear on my Morocco holiday, and I cut out another dress and then didn't finish it, cut out a jersey top, didn't finish that. I think that's about it for dressmaking. It's really not very much. Someone who watched my videos had asked me in 2020 or 2021, do I have an enormous amount of clothes? Because I was doing a lot of dressmaking at that point, and I just said no. I mean, it comes and goes. It really does. Anyway, having said that, I do have some plans for next year. So I would like to make a matcha top. I bought this pattern recently, having sort of had my eye on it for ages and been like, oh, well, you could make that from other things you've got. And I never do. And I know it's quite twee. I think in the right fabrics, it would be fun rather than twee. Yeah, I'd like to work out how to make slightly longer. So these are just cap sleeves. I'd like to make slightly longer sleeves, but I don't think that would be hard. I like this sort of multicolour, multi-fabric look. So I'm going to try and make one or two of those. This is a top that I have made before and I really like, and I definitely want to make another one or even two, maybe a sort of winter weight one and a summer weight one. I like it with this funnel neck, and also I've never done it with contrast fabrics in these sleeve sections, but I quite like that idea, or even maybe the same fabric but contrast piping or something like that on those seams. So I'd like to make one or two more of those. I've got one which actually I haven't got printed out, so I will put in a picture for you here. This is from a company that somebody recommended to me earlier this year called the Sewing Workshop. And this is the splice top. And again, I just love, sorry, I'm sort of indicating it here, but you can probably see it better there. I just love the colour insert, and I think you can have a lot of fun with that. And in fact, I bought some fabric specifically to make this top and haven't made the top yet. So I am going to do that. What else? Now this was the one that I had cut out last summer and then didn't get around to sewing up. I've cut this out in contrasting red and sort of gold linen, and part of the reason I didn't get around to sewing it up was that I ran out of time for my holiday, but partly I decided it really needed a lining fabric for the fabrics that I'd chosen, and I didn't have any. But I really like that look. You'll see there's a sort of theme of using kind of multiple fabrics. I'm excited about this. One of the things I really want to try and do is sew garments that are really special, things that you couldn't just buy in a shop. Yeah, and I love colour, I love colour matching, I love patterns. So the idea of having multiple fabrics within a garment, I really like. This is a pattern I bought at the beginning of 2022. This was not the price I paid for it. It was not in Oxfam. It looks really nothing on the front of the pattern, I think, but I've seen them made up, and I think it would be a really nice, easy dress to wear. So I'd like to make one or two of those. This one came just actually in a sewing magazine. I don't buy sewing magazines generally anymore, because what I do is I check on Readly to see what's in the magazine and whether there are patterns that I really would like to sew. Because you know, when you look at them in the supermarket and they're all in the plastic bag and you can't quite see what patterns are in there or what size range they have, or you know, whether there's anything else in the magazine you want. So I like to look at Readly first, and then if I decide I want the pattern, I go and buy it. So I did get this one. I don't know. Yeah, Sew Magazine. I like the kind of full maxi. I also like this shorter version, which I would probably combine with the longer sleeves and the slightly collared neckline. Yeah, but I think there's various options there that I think I would quite like. So I think that's all the patterns that I'm thinking about sewing. The other thing that I did sew this year, which I was really proud of, and I've talked about quite a lot on the channel before, is this. So this was from Rosie Taylor Crafts on Etsy, the pattern. It uses mostly Tula Pink fabrics and ribbons, and then as it folds open, it's got little thread keeping space, needle minder, space for scissors, space in the middle for charts and fabric, even a small hoop fit in there. And then you've got, there's another pocket behind that, and then these pockets for bobbins, and finally a floss ring. So I really liked that. And I eventually got around to finishing the cross stitch pattern that was going to be on the outside of that. And so today, this is what I've been sewing, and it did take quite a lot longer than I planned, but I'm reasonably pleased. It's not the best finish in the world, but I do love the colours, how this turned out. So this is I had a Ruby Star Society jelly roll. I can't remember what the range is, and some of the fabric is not from that. It's other fabric that I had sitting around as well, but I'm pretty sure this main fabric was Ruby Star. So you can see the whole cross stitch piece. It's got a slightly funny spine in the middle, so it doesn't completely lay flat, to show you the whole piece. But this side was mostly Doreen Jones World of Cross Stitching. This side, some of Doreen Jones World of Cross Stitching, and some my own design. But I really love how that turned out. So then I made the inside slightly different, which is why it's not as good, basically. But it will be, I think, more useful for me. So I made another little thread keepy place, but this is a bit bigger. And then at the bottom, again, there are pockets. One of those will have a needle minder in. One of them will work for a packet of needles or a needle book, and one of them for scissors. Then I've got 2 pages worth of bobbin holders, and I actually, instead of dividing these into 2 columns, I've divided them into 3, so I can get 12 bobbins on each side of that page. And then just one of the bigger pockets at the back, which I think is fine, is all I've ever used for fabric and pattern. So there we go. And then it's just got elastic. I can't remember how she has her thing for finishing in the original, but I was just like, just going to put elastic around it. That holds it nice and tight. So I'm really pleased that I finally finished that. Yeah, I mean, just don't look at the binding. If you want a tutorial on how to make really lovely project bags, you don't want my channel. You want Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch, probably. Hers are always really smart and neat, and mine are not. But also mine are really bright and fun, and I'm very happy to use them looking like that. So anyway, I have two of those. Rosie Taylor Crafts, I will put the Etsy link to her shop. So finally, this is going to be quite a short one today. 12 Days of Generosity. So I was recently in a local patchwork fabric shop. I did buy, in fact, some fabric for dressmaking there as well. They had a few bolts of needle cord and I'm like, oh, I really like that. So there might be a dress coming soon. But they also had these leaflets and I picked one up. Make a bag, change a life. These are period bags, effectively. So this is what it says. The So Powerful program helps schoolgirls in Zambia get feminine hygiene supplies to stay in school all month, saving them an average of 6 weeks of school per year. We could really use your help. Our bag project creates the perfect package to deliver the reusable feminine hygiene supplies that are distributed to the girls in the health class. There's a pattern you can download at www.sopowerful.org. I'll put the link below. Sew as many bags as you like, invite your friends, spread the word, and then post your bags. And then there's the address for where you can send your bags to. So I just think that's brilliant. You know, periods are horrible. Periods when you're a teenager are just rubbish. Periods when you're in a situation where you don't have access to sanitary supplies, you don't have a way of carrying them with you. I always feel, you know, in motorway service stations, and you go to the loo and on the back of the loo is the thing, you know, you've lost your home, you've lost your family, you're in the refugee camp, and now you get your period, and it would just be the worst, wouldn't it? I think especially when you're still a teenager, just the worst. So anyway, they are a charity that works with a Zambian program. The Zambian team provide the sanitary care supplies, and these bags go to the girls so they have something that they can just take the things that they need with them to go to school. So if you're a sewer as well as a stitcher, or a sewer but not a stitcher, sopowerful.org to make a period bag for a girl to help her stay in school. I definitely want to do that. If you have as much fabric as I do, yeah, that's a thing I feel like I could easily do to help. So that is the 5th day of Christmas. I'll be back tomorrow. I think, what's on the list for tomorrow? Might be talking about plans, possibly. Planning. Talking about planners, maybe. I'll need to check my list. Anyway, I hope you're having a good time and I will see you again